Okay, Justin Trudeau is always talking about jobs. If you listen to his speeches, he justifies doing everything because of job creation. Even when it talks about corrupt companies like SNC Lavalin, it's more important that we keep those 9,000 jobs than prosecute this corrupt company. This is the kind of extent that Trudeau goes to talk about jobs, and he just does it constantly. That's his number one contribution to the Canadian economy is jobs. Now, what we have to understand, though, is that Trudeau, like all previous governments, inherited a situation. He inherited the job potential, both success and failure, from the previous government, which is the Harper government. And until he makes changes, right, that performance is not his. It really is the previous government's, and to some extent previous governments before that. Until he makes changes to the tax code, relationships with the United States, he really just inherited the economy. It's just like if you bought a house. The house might be yours in name, but the style of the house, what flavors of the house, just the appearance of the house, the functionality of the house is really from the previous owners. Until you make changes to the paint, changes to remodeling, landscaping, whatever, that house really is to the taste of previous owners. Now, Trudeau has made some changes, and a lot of them weren't very good. First of all, the pipeline, which is a big jobs losing disaster and has been. He's also made marijuana legal, which it may have short-term benefits from companies springing up, but I really don't see a country that is stoned. This is actually necessarily good for jobs. I mean, people who are stoned all the time, they're not exactly searching for skills and searching to improve it, don't have the desire, quite frankly. And since Trudeau made the marijuana laws legal, I've seen more and more people just stoned out of their heads. And like I said, that has a short-term gain, maybe from these jobs springing up, but long-term, I don't think it's a good strategy for a country to be on drugs all the time. He's also made some small business changes. But now the two big deals. He sent his top negotiator, Christian Freeland, to the United States to negotiate the new free trade deal with the United States and Mexico, and she basically just signed on to what Mexico dealt with the United States, and that was a 12-hour deal. It was kind of like take it or leave it, and Canada just signed on. Now, this deal with Mexico is designed for Mexico. We don't even have a dispute chamber. We can't even dispute it. We can't even get, for example, into United States infrastructure companies because we're excluded. Mexico isn't, but we are. And this is because such poor tactics on the part of particularly Christian Freeland, who was out too busy doing feminist protest movement against Trump than actually negotiating for a country, and the leadership of Trudeau. I mean, these things have just completely kiboshed, where we signed on a deal that we hardly even knew what was in. And now we're suffering for it. And also, more recently, the total disastrous carbon tax, which is just one phase in five phases between now and 2022. So each year it's going to be a new increment, a new increase. There is nothing more disastrous than making the cost of fuel higher for a country's economy, because everything is now going to go up. It doesn't matter what it is, everything will go up. From food to manufacturing, everything needs to be transported, and the transportation costs are going to go up. Now, from here on in, I say this is now Trudeau's economy. Starting with the numbers in March, the Canadian economy has lost 7,200 jobs. Now, that's not a huge number, right? Most of them were full-time jobs, which is again is 6.4 thousand, which is not a huge, particularly huge number, but it is significant when in comparison to what's going on in the States. Because in the States, they're still having great job numbers, and they're having great manufacturing numbers, and we're kind of excluded from that. So I predict that in the next long while, until we go back and undo what Trudeau has done, our job numbers are really truly going to reflect the poor performance of the Trudeau government. And this is really the start of, I think, what is going to be just a continuous downtrend in the job market in Canada. And just to show you one, over length of time, that under Trudeau, and we're going to do it for the last 5 years, there have been some poor numbers. Like if you look at these two numbers, these numbers are dreadful. And this was already under the Trudeau government. Just zoom in on that a little bit. And now I believe that this is going to be the norm. Losing 60,000 jobs is going to be more the norm than the abnorm. So there you go. I hope you take note of this video. Really have to undo what Trudeau's done. We really have to go back and maybe unilaterally negotiate with the United States and get back to a deal that is beneficial for both countries. And we do have to get rid of the carbon tax, which is just ridiculous because there's no basis for having a carbon tax. Thanks for watching.